Happy Stout Day 2023. What are we going to review this time? Hey, it's Brain Muffin back with another beer review, and here we have the Black Chocolate Stout. It's an Imperial Stout, 10% alcohol from Brooklyn Brewery. And we're going to do something a little different I just thought of. So we're going to review the beer, and we're going to do something special, hopefully, if I can remember. So anyway, it is International Stout Day 2023, November 2nd. Last year I did a Guinness. So this year I thought I'd do an American beer. And at the store they had this, and they had the Yuengling Hershey's chocolate, which I don't know if it's a stout or a porter. I don't think I've ever had it. Everybody I know who's had says it's horrible, yet it's still out there. So it comes out, I guess it's a seasonal, I don't know. Yuengling is one of those breweries, I think it's the oldest continuous, because I thought Wooden Shoe was the oldest brewery, and it's up, I think, in Northeast Ohio. I want to say, is it Canton that has the baseball hall? It's in the same place as Youngstown. Youngstown, Ohio has a baseball hall of fame. Canton is the football, NFL. So anyway, this beer, I don't know if I've reviewed it before. I know I've had it before, but it's been a while. This is the limited release. This is the Winter 2023. And if you look on Untapped, and you'll see right there, it says Winter 2023. Usually every year is in there. This year is not yet, because I checked in the other day. And so I'll look again. I'm definitely going to check in today because it's International Stout Day. Now, I don't know if it has actual chocolate. Independent brewery, black chocolate, because you can get chocolate malts, and then you get malts that have roastiness that provide a chocolatey flavor. But it definitely is a stout. It has that expected roasted barley quality to it. In general, this is one of those things that kind of grinds my gears a little bit. Stouts and porters are not the same beer. Now, stouts are technically porters, but not all porters are stouts, because it is a stout porter. My understanding is porter came from stouts and ales mixing together. I don't know if that's true. It might be apocryphal. But anyway, there's two distinct differences. There's more, but there's two. The two big ones are, one, porters have a wider range of colors. They can be dark brown to black. Stouts are always black. The other one is supposed to be, now certain styles of stout and certain varieties of stout will play with this, is the source of bitterness. In a porter, it can be hops, or it can be the tannins essentially from the roasted barley or roasted malt. Some people use roasted barley. Some people use roasted malts. I think, if I remember correctly, the Sam Adams Stout has roasted barley in it, but it's unmalted barley. And from stouts, I didn't complete my sentence, but stouts are only supposed to have bitterness from the barley. No discernible hop bitterness is supposed to be there. Certain stouts kind of monkey with that a little bit. So anyway, but it is the difference between squares and rectangles. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. So all stouts are porters, but not all porters are stouts. So there is a difference, and I know some people believe there isn't, but take them to a geometry class. So on the nose, you get this deep nuttiness, hints of chocolate. I want to say roasted caramel. Now that may make, or baked caramel. It may make no sense at all to some people, but if you take malted barley and you bake it, it'll crystallize, and that's where the crystal malt, or caramel malt as it's known as. And then you can bake it more to get a deeper, I used to do this years ago, 30 years ago now, where I'd buy, the homebrew store I got supplies at the time only had 10 or 20 L, I don't remember now. And so to get other varieties, I had to roast it. Now it was it was a bit precarious because it was sugary and you're putting it in the oven, so you have to be careful not to burn it. But essentially I could get a 45 or 50 L by doing that, mixing it, and it gave it a deeper nuttiness. Now, it's a different variety of nuttiness that you get from a roasted barley, but it's kind of a sweet caramel, almost like a caramelized nut kind of thing. And there's hints of that. And I want to say hints of breadiness, and hints of coffee too. So let me see. So it has a nice chocolatey flavor, kind of shows up mid-mouth, and it finishes that way. It finishes very smooth. I imagine the IBUs are not very high on this one. Somehow I got a dog hair in my mouth. I even rinsed the glass out. But 10% alcohol, barely noticeable. Oh, but man, this is a not breakfast. It's a desserty beer. It's not a dessert beer. It's a desserty beer. So, and I'm sorry, apologize, but somehow I got something in my mouth. I can't get it out. But anyway, it's very smooth. This is a very good introduction to the higher end Imperial Stouts. Back when Stone used to make the IRS, their Imperial Russian Stout, it was a bit bolder, a bit bigger, but it's Stone, right? They like that. One of the things I like about what Garrett does at Brooklyn is his beers have a better balance, but he does, at least the ones I've had, they're not right exactly the style. They're very close with a little bit of expression here and there. They don't go crazy. So they're very clean, very well done, very balanced. And you kind of know best by the variety of beer of what you're getting. And I like that. Garrick, right? Garrick? Is it Garrick Oliver or Garrett Oliver? Anyway, there's a video of him on YouTube where people don't know who he is. And he's like, cheap beer, expensive beer, cheap beer, expensive beer. He nails every one of them. He even knows who some of them are. And I'm like, and people just think it's just some random black guy. And it's like, he's a brewmaster, okay? He knows his shit, okay? So I'm like, of course he can do that. That's what he does for a living. But they don't know who he is. The comments are hilarious. I've never met the man, and I wish I had. Basically, I want to say 3 or 4 beer tastings before I started attending beer tastings at Jungle Gyms years ago was Brooklyn, and I missed it. And they don't do them anymore. They stopped many years ago. Man, look at the dark brown head on that. Beautiful. And as it warms up, as it opens up, even on the nose, there's, I want to say hints of vanilla, but that much may be me daydreaming. It's not a bourbon barrel-aged stout. It is a nice balance, and it's very good. This is a 5 out of 5. This is really good, a really good beer. I think on Untapped I gave it a 4 1/4 once, or 4 1/2, but I need to raise that up because it's really, really fantastic. It's a good example of an Imperial Stout that'll sneak up on you because it's just sweet enough. Not overly sweet, just sweet enough. Like I said, well balanced. No alcohol burn, just sweet enough that the alcohol can catch up on you, and but just strong enough to get you there. So now, what am I going to do? I'm going to try it with a bourbon. So hopefully I remember when I edit. And I'm back. So before I started filming this, my allergies were kind of kicking up, and so I poured a little bit of bourbon with one ice cube. This is the Conspiracy bourbon, which I really do like, and I'm slowly learning my bourbons. So I'm not going to pour it in, but I am going to take it together. Wasn't enough bourbon. it's still good. And that's very interesting. It's an interesting mix. So I part of what I wanted to see is there a potential here to barrel age this? And I think there is. I think in reality, if they were to do it, they need to bump the not the hop bitterness, bump the bitterness up a little bit first, because in the barrel it's going to tone down. So when it finishes, it'll finish here, but with hints of vanilla, a little bit of bourbon flavor. Now, granted, you're typically not get a lot of bourbon alcohol in a bourbon barrel-aged stout because they've already poured the bourbon out. There's still some sitting in there. So this might be a little bit more direct alcohol than you would get. But no, that was good. That was a good mixture. I've been also debating whether I would make a float out of this. And I might. My problem is, once I started doing more keto and paleo, going back to milk and stuff is really just makes my sinuses go nuts. But I think you could do a chocolate. You could maybe even do a chocolate raspberry. I don't know if I would do a black raspberry chocolate chip. I don't think I'd do that. But if you had a good creamy chocolate ice cream, you could float it in it, or a chocolate raspberry, or put raspberries on top. I just like the idea of raspberries and chocolate. It's a very interesting concept. But anyway, so have you had anything from Brooklyn Brewing? Yeah, Brooklyn Brewery. See, I started to say brewery and I went in a different direction halfway through the word. What should I try and find around here? They have some different things from Brooklyn, not many. But this was definitely one that we had at Food Line from what I remember. There are some others. There's, I don't know if they have a Yuengling. I thought they did. I'll have to, other than that, I think it's Yuengling that has that other thing. Definitely gonna have to check it out. So what did you have for International Stout Day? I know for the most part, it's pretty much over, but very, very late with this video. But what did you have today? Did you have multiple stouts? And what should I do next year? I did Guinness last year, did this one this year. I don't have any more IRS anymore. I don't think they even make a stout anymore at Stone. They got some other thing. I don't know if I'd call it a stout. Maybe I need to make some better preparations so I start getting stuff. Maybe we'll do a flight. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next year. Can't believe I'm doing this so late.